Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and today we're going to have a look at Tropical Storm Arthur, which is out in the Atlantic Ocean. Now we're going to be covering the Atlantic and East Pacific hurricane season, which only started a few days ago, 15th of May, and it ends end of November. Now it is forecast to be a very active hurricane season because of sea surface temperature anomalies and the current state of the oceans, really. It just looks, many forecasters and long range models are predicting to be above average. It's very difficult to see again because remember, they do originate from thunderstorm activity, and again, that's very difficult to pinpoint on a day to day basis, but generally, we probably will be seeing an active hurricane season. Now, currently we have one disturbance or tropical storm. This has turned into it's going to only be a tropical storm for probably a few days, and it was named, I think, yesterday or the day before, was Tropical Storm Arthur. And we'll be covering these because there's a chance that this storm actually gets swept up in the jet stream. As you can see, this is the rough line of the jet stream. The UK is up here, and it could be swept in the jet stream and could affect the weather we see over the next few days. I highlighted my video earlier about the lot of uncertainty we have in the forecast, and that is probably because of how this storm interacts with the jet stream, bringing more energy to it, or even joining and developing into an area of low pressure, or a post-tropical area of low pressure, really. But currently, as of 11 a.m. Eastern time, so that's many hours behind us in the UK, but it's only a couple of hours ago this was updated. Maximum winds of around 50 miles an hour, so not huge winds, but again, strong enough winds to, have sustained issues, especially as those will be sustained for many hours. The minimal central pressure is not completely known, 996 millibars, and it's moving fairly quickly at 16 miles per hour. Sometimes you can get these that stalled, only going at 1 or 2 miles per hour. We've had that with a few Category 5s over the years, and that's where you get the very devastating impacts. So it's not expected to get any worse. It is expected to, in fact, lessen its impacts. As you can see, tropical storm warning, and that is the cone. We'll have a look at that in a minute. And you can see if we go to the warning cone and static images, you can see currently there's a tropical storm watch on the North Carolina beach, and you can see how it comes out, and its predicted path is to go towards Bermuda, actually. So originally it did look like it might be going out towards the jet stream, but again, it could still affect, bring some moisture further north, and could just change the jet stream a little bit, maybe get more powerful. But again, it looks like it's doing almost a full circle as it develops down to north of Florida. But it will go into a depression, and it will significantly decrease its potency as it heads towards Bermuda. Still bringing a lot of rain, but again, not really going to be too many impacts. If we have a look at the wind speed probabilities, you can see very strong winds in the centre and not quite reaching the coast, maybe the few outer keys and islands, but again, most of the strong winds remaining off land, and I wouldn't think this actually makes a landfall, such the eye doesn't go over land, but definitely the thunderstorms around it and strong winds around it. So if we have a look at the rainfall potential, you can see not hugely sustained amount of rain is predicted with this, but again, there will be a lot of rain, and we'll have a look at that in a minute. So yeah, I'll be back in a second, and we'll have a look at the Met Office beta website to see more active imaging for this. And we are back having a look at the active imagery for the tropical storm Arthur. So you can see it's down here currently, and you can see a lot of moisture has actually been brought quite far north. And if we have a look at the wind speed animated, you can see the big swirl of wind coming into this. And you see the eye as well offshore, and it's these areas here that's going to see strongest wind. Currently sustained around 40 mile an hour, and again, as we saw with the Hurricane Centre, National Hurricane Centre predicted up to 50 mile an hour sustained winds. If we have wind gusts, Wind gusts are getting up to 50, maybe 60 mile an hour away from the eye, so very significant wind. And we'll have a look at the satellite observations. Can we see? Oh yes, here we go. So you can see that's the tropical storm. It's not really got a sustained eye as such, but you can see big thunderstorm, cumulonimbus clouds rotating around it. And it will be heading out towards Bermuda, and you can see it's got quite a huge influence with a lot of thunderstorms rotating around it. And we'll now have a look at the radar, and unfortunately, I don't think we don't get any data, unfortunately, for this area. But we can still have a look at the GFS model, and it generally can show you the current rainfall that is being expected, or rainfall rates at least, and you can see it agrees with the National Hurricane Centre with the heaviest rain remaining offshore, really. And as we head through, if we play through this animation, you can see the rain heading out into the Atlantic, sort of fizzling out a little bit and heading south towards Bermuda as it decreases in strength. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see what happens after this, really. As last year we had, it wasn't predicted to be a particularly active hurricane season. It was around average, was predicted, but it was actually above average. Not because we had the most intense hurricanes we've had, but we had so many. I remember seeing that National Hurricane Centre image having 4 or 5 disturbances in the Atlantic, and we'll be keeping tabs on that again, because not only do they have significant impacts over America, but could also eventually affect the UK down in 2 weeks into their timeline. So anyway, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed the video, subscribe for new, and I'll see you again tomorrow.